Okay, welcome everyone. We're ready to start our next demo. This demo is called Process Materials Race to the Finish, to Kit or Not to Kit, featuring Aerovac Process Materials. My name is James Knox. I'm the Technical Service Manager for Aerovac. Here helping with the demo today, we have Mr. Kevin Jackson of Composites 1 and Mr. Doug Perry Hunter, also of Composites 1. So a quick word about kitting. As you know, you can buy your process consumables for vacuum bagging as roll stock, as you see over here on our stand, is a typical method. In kitting, Aerovac will pre-cut all of your materials to the exact shape and dimension of your tool so that you can simply pull them right out and quickly and easily apply them to your tool. It saves a tremendous amount of time on trimming, cutting, measuring, and reduces scrap in your facility. And at this point, we're ready to start the demo. So if we're going to cut to a little picture-in-picture here, so what we're going to demonstrate today is that Doug and Kevin are going to show you how it goes bagging this up with a kitted solution. And in the bottom right corner of the screen over my head, we're going to have a picture-in-picture previously recorded where they bagged up the same tool from roll stock. So we're going to demonstrate. You can just observe the motion and the activity. You'll see how much less waste and how much more efficient this is. So at this time, Kevin and Doug, are you guys ready? All right, so we got the go sign. So we have a timer in the bottom right. And what you'll see here in the live demonstration, they have pulled out and they're applying the first layer of the kit. Our kitted solutions can include, all of the layers that you utilize for your layup. The one we're demonstrating today will have 3 layers: release film, breather, and bagging film. So the release film layer is going down. This product is Aerovac's A6200 ETFE non-perforated release film, 1 mil thickness. It's well suited for the 350F autoclave cures. And you'll notice because it's a kitted solution, it's exactly the correct shape for the contoured part. So there's no trimming needed. It just went right down and right in place, exactly fitting the part line. And they're already doing the breather layer. One thing I do want to mention on the release film layer, you may have noticed, or you probably didn't notice, there was a seam in the middle. What we can do if you need a kit for a very large part, we can heat seam or weld the ETFE or really any of our other release films together to make a very wide one-piece release film heat seam together. As far as the breather layer, again, it goes down really quickly like the release film because it's already cut to shape. That's a 10-ounce polyester breather offered there by Aerovac. The bagging film, we're already applying the bagging film. This is our StretchVac 2000 product, 2 mils thick. It's a great product. It's designed for 350F autoclave cures. What I want to highlight about this pink bagging film, if you look at it, it's pre-pleated. So it's all about how do we save time for the customer in their shop and make them more efficient. So when we would design the kit, we would work with you to understand the way that's best to pleat the part. We would pre-identify the locations of the pleats, the exact height of the pleat, how many, and then we pre-pleat the bag before it comes to you. The pleats are held down temporarily with removable tape just to be sure they stay in place during shipment. Another quick word about the products in use. The sealant tape that we're using is Aerovac's VacSeal 2042 yellow. This is just a very standard sealant tape for us. It's kind of the vanilla ice cream, perhaps, of our sealant tape offering. Of course, we have a full line of sealant tapes for different temperatures, cure temperatures. But this VacSeal 2042 is a good general tape that works in a wide variety of applications. So I'm going to make a quick comparison between where they are and what's going on in the bottom right. So in the bottom right video, they're actually still on the release film layer when they made it from roll stock. The reason it was taking them so long is, they had to measure it and then cut it, and then you've got a contoured part with a complex shape, so they had to trim it with scissors there on the tool, and that just takes longer than you think. It really slows you down. So again, they're on layer 1 in the roll stock video, whereas we're already applying the bagging film layer, layer 3 here in the lab demonstration. So while we watch them do the bagging film, I'll speak again about the design process. So to get the kit to perfectly fit your tool and your part, the way we would do that, there's several options. One, you can choose to securely share the surface layer of your tool drawing through a secure file transferring program. And our design engineers at our Salt Lake City kitting facility will take that and they'll flatten it out and determine the exact dimensions that we need for each layer just from the tool surface drawing. Of course, there's some additional information we need, such as pleat locations and size. Another way to do it, if it's not desired to use the tool drawing, we can come into your facility and we can take the measurements. We can create a physical template to come back and we'll create a drawing for the kitted product in CATIA. So it's a collaborative process, working with the customer to get the information needed to get that design just right. So I'm just checking in again. They're still trimming that release film in the original video, whereas here you see that we are now applying the sealant tape into the pleats, and as well as connecting the bag to the tool with the VacSeal 2042 sealant tape. I do want to mention some benefits of kitting. Obviously we're highlighting speed here. We've got the timer in the corner and we're showing you how much more quickly you can bag it up. And speed is important because you can complete the task and move on to the next job. And, we're all facing shortages of having enough people. It's a very tight labor market right now, so that's extremely beneficial. But there are other benefits as well. There's safety benefits here. For one thing, as you watch this demo, you'll notice that we're not having to use scissors or utility knives to trim. So that eliminates a hand hazard for your employees, that you don't need to trim the kit in your shop. There's also an ergonomic benefit in terms of preventing strains and muscle pulls. These rolls of bagging film are quite heavy. And if you go with a kitted solution, it's very lightweight. You take out a kit, it's extremely easy to work with. So you've got no lifting hazard in terms of taking the roll stock out of the box and getting it on your rack. So in addition to safety, there are quality benefits to going with a kitted solution. When you bag up from roll stock, naturally there's going to be variability on any given day, the way the technician bags it. Maybe they cut too much material, maybe they cut not enough material. Some of the pleats are larger than others. A mistake can be made. Maybe you get bridging, or you don't have enough extra bag in a part of a certain location. With a kitted solution, it'll be the same every time, so you can have a more reliable process with a lower error rate. So that's safety, quality. And in terms of efficiency, obviously it's faster, but it also reduces waste, not just at your shop, but it reduces kind of waste throughout the entire process. If we kit it for you, In many cases, we can use that material that for you would be waste. We can nest multiple kits together in our cutting process, and we can utilize that material that for you would have been scrap, so it's greener, it's more environmentally friendly. Also on efficiency, if you were to look at the entire value chain of the process consumable through to the end of you creating your composite part, allowing us to kit it is going to be more efficient because we have automated cutting tables. So, we'll take our CATIA design and it's loaded into the software of the automated cutting table. So we can cut all the layers very quickly and efficiently. So it's actually a net reduction in total time. It's not just moving the work to us, it's actually reducing the amount of labor input that's required. And it's going to be more efficient if you consider the work in our shop and yours and add it all up. So just checking in on these guys again. Looks like in the video in the bottom right, they've completed the release film layer. It's trimmed properly. It's in place, tacked down. Now they're measuring out how much breather they need, and they're preparing to cut it off of the master roll there. It looks like Kevin is cutting it now in the video while Doug's holding the breather. Whereas here, of course, the breather is long since complete, and they've half done bagging it already with the sealant tape and the pleats. So certainly much, much faster with the kitted solution. A word about the materials that would go in your kit. So when, if you decide that a kitted solution is going to add value to you, we would tailor the materials to your application. For example, the bagging film, we have a huge, line of bagging films, each for different temperatures and cure methods. So we could tailor the materials, choose the correct bagging film, release film for your application, or that meets your specifications. If you have a qualified products list, we'll use those materials and kit it up with the materials that are on your specification. Also, kitting is valuable in a variety of industries. We are using it widely in aerospace, wind, automotive, and marine. It's been beneficial to a number of customers in all of those markets. So a couple of those markets I just mentioned are typically in fusion. So we're demonstrating today the kind of layup you would have in a typical pre-preg kit with the breather layer. We can also do kits for infusion applications, in which case, we would replace the breather with a flow media, an infusion mesh. Also, in terms of the materials, they come in a variety of thicknesses. Our bagging films most commonly are 2 mil or 3 mil thick, but we can tailor that to your application as well if you want additional thickness for more security, so you have a more durable, tough bag if you're in an application maybe where it sees, rough treatment. For example, if it's a marine kit and you're going to be dragging the bag over a deck with a lot of sharp features, and you want a really tough, rugged bag, we can go with a thicker bag to meet your needs. So we're continuing now to apply the VacSeal 2042 sealant tape to the bagging layer, and they're almost done. We're up to the end here, putting it in the pleats. Quick look at the other video. It looks like Kevin in the video is trimming the breather using his large scissors there from the roll stock method. So it just kind of demonstrates some of the tasks that are eliminated if you go with a kitted solution that was made on our automated cutting tables at Aerovac's Salt Lake City facility or Toulouse, France facility. A word about wind kitting. Kitting in wind can be quite impactful as well. Wind blades, if you think of the shape, it's very wide at the root and very narrow at the tip. So what we can do with a kitted solution is we can nest those together so that we reduce the film waste, where it's tip to root and root to tip, and we can make 2 kits out of a roll of material with very little waste. So just checking in again. It looks like we're still trimming breather in the bottom right. Doug and Kevin are putting the final touches on the bag. Kevin has actually moved on to, he's now installing the vacuum ports so that we can connect the vacuum pump through one vacuum port and have a vacuum gauge on the other so we can vac it down. One thing I want to highlight too, with kitting or with roll stock, Aerovac partnered with the Composites One. We do have 40 plus warehouse locations throughout North America. So we can have materials local to you, very short lead times, very easy and fast delivery. I do also want to mention pre-preg kitting. So obviously here we're demonstrating process materials kitting, but Composites One, in partnership with their supplier partner, Mission Critical Composites, also offers pre-preg kitting. So, pre-preg kitting is a similar principle, but there we've taken the structural materials and we've cut them to the shape of the tool. Another huge time saver. If you're interested in a kitted pre-preg solution, then you can visit the Composites One booth, which is just beside us here. And Composites One, working with Mission Critical Composites, can help you with the kitted pre-preg solution. The approach will be similar with that in that there'll be a design process to understand how exactly the pre-preg cuts need to be shaped to fit into your complex contoured mold. All right, you may have noticed that we are now applying vacuum. Kevin has attached the vacuum line to the vacuum port. And what Doug is doing is he's going around, he's doing 2 things. One, he's checking all of his sealant tape and his pleats and around the base to be sure he's got a good vacuum tight seal, no leaks. And also moving the bagging film around a little bit as necessary to be sure there's no bridging and, there's plenty of material everywhere there needs to be. Of course, with the pre-pleated design, it's really, mostly taken care of already, but, he's just checking everything. If I were to check the old video on the bottom right, working with roll stock, they have completed the breather layer. It's down, it's in place, and you'll see that Kevin and Doug are measuring the bagging film and rolling it off. And very shortly, they will be cutting the bagging film and beginning to move it over to the tool. Whereas here in the kitting demonstration, it's already complete. They're vacuuming it down and just finishing getting that vacuum tight seal and getting the vacuum gauge down to where we want it. And we did this demonstration yesterday, the same live demonstration, and yesterday they finished the kit in just over 19 minutes. So I'm anxious to see if we're going to beat the time or not. See if we get continuous improvement here with our kitting activity. Oh, and Doug says we're done. Okay. All right. Well, great job, guys. Yep. So you cut a minute and a half off. So I guess we do get better with practice. All right. So a couple things I want to mention in comparing the two. First is, let's go back to the slides. And Doug, if you would mind hold up the trash. So we want to demonstrate the one he's holding up high. We actually saved the trash from when we pre-recorded the video with the roll stock. We just want to demonstrate, and that's the trash from today, which is just the backing paper from the sealant tape. So, it's unavoidable when you're working with roll stock. You're going to have trimming waste on really all the layers. So the kit eliminates that. You don't have the waste there at your facility to dispose of. And Doug, you're holding up. He's kind of showing what will the kit look like when it comes to you. Okay, this is one of the options. We'll work with you on how you want it packaged, but it can arrive folded. We can simply fold it up, and you take it out of the bag, unfold it, put it on the tool. We also supply it rolled around a little small core, if that's preferable to you. We offer both of those options. In terms of labeling, we will label that kit. Each layer will be labeled what the material is, and we'll work with you to customize the labeling if you want there to be information on there for your technicians, like, which end is which, how to unroll it onto the tool. We can put instructions on the material labels. As you look, can we go to the slides, please? Yep. Okay, if you take a look at these slides, that's a still picture when they finished bagging it up using roll stock, and we clocked them at 45 and a half minutes, and today we did it in 17 and a half. So it's just a lot more efficient, and that frees up time for your technicians. Their time is valuable. You've got a lot of work to do in your facility. It's just so much more faster and efficient. And one final point, with roll stock, you got to have these big racks, and it takes up shop floor space. It's got to be either near the tool, or you're going to waste a lot of time walking back and forth to the rack. So with kits, you kind of get out of the need for that entire process. So this is what we've said here. We're summarizing the kitting advantages. I'll touch on them briefly, but it's everything I've mentioned before. Reduces labor, reduces storage space requirement, reduces your waste, and it cuts down that landfill burden because, in our shop, we'll find a way to nest it with other things we're cutting and use it, and it's improved health and safety. Cut hazards, heavy strains and pulls, and it's going to be more consistent, better quality. One final point, you even reduce a FIDE risk. Trimming that breather, you can get that breather floating around, and that's a FIDE risk. And with this process, you don't need to trim the breather, so more quality advantages. So, it's a little picture of some of the kind of things you could kit. You see so many different shapes there. We can pre-cut all those on our automated cutting tables. So it's an optimized process, better quality, more efficient, increases your productivity. It's a total cost reduction if you look at the entire value stream. So what are the best markets and applications for kits? Again, we're using them in aerospace, wind, marine, and automotive. They're best suited to mature production projects where you want to gain more efficiency. And also, one other great application is the very large parts. Because for very large parts, as I said before, we can weld or heat seam the materials together so that you don't have to seam it in your facility. Also, if you have complex geometries, that's particularly difficult to trim. It takes a lot of time to trim it. So with the complex geometries, we can pre-kit it for you. If you would like to talk to us one-on-one, you can visit us at the Composites 1 booth right there. And tomorrow there'll be an open house where you can come into the demo zone and look at all the demos. We'd be happy to talk to you about kitting further then. So thank you, everyone, for your time.